Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. 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 When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. Pray. Pray.
Welcome, everyone, to Dr. Pillai's Religion of Religions YouTube channel. The program we're about to do right now is a live planetary puja using the chart of now, meaning using a Vedic astrology chart based off of where I am right now in Florida. The planetary puja is perhaps a little bit more advanced form of puja. It's one that Dr. Pillai taught to myself and Raja Malloy, Mina's brother, several years ago. And I have been asked to do this on the Religion of Religions channel, and I'm very, very happy to be hosting these little calls. My name is Swamini Valli. I'm a Pillai Center teacher and an AstroVed astrologer, and I am delighted to be making this available for people across the world. All of the planets and the stars have a divine being or a light being associated with them. They're more than just objects out there in outer space. The energy of the planets and the stars is also something that is inwardly inside of us too. As we do the puja, we start to connect more with these light beings, and we also start to awaken our own inner connections with all of these divine beings and the energies that they represent or the blessings that flow through them. So it's a beautiful practice. You're welcome to participate in this in whatever way works for you. I know some people may be listening to it while they're driving to work, and that's fine. Dr. Pillai has said all the names of all of these planets and stars isn't of itself a mantra or a quantum sound, a vibration that has positive energies. So even just listening to the puja has beneficial results for people. Other people may want to actually participate at home. We're using the chart of now based on my location here in Florida. This is the South Indian style representation of the chart. There is a link in the description below the video for a tutorial video about the South Indian style chart if you're not familiar with this layout. Dr. Pillai comes from Tamil Nadu, a state in southern India, so my training has been all done using the South Indian style chart. This chart, each of the boxes in this little chart represent a different zodiac sign. Each zodiac sign represents 30 degrees, and the place here where it says AC, that stands for ascendant. That means this is the sign coming up on the eastern horizon in my local area right now. So we're going to be honoring the planets, we're going to be honoring the stars they're in, the archetypes that rule those stars, the planets that rule those stars, and also the planets that rule some of the different zodiac signs as we go along. With me on a side table, I have a blackboard with the chart of now drawn in chalk. Dr. Pillai instructed me and Raja to get a chalkboard and to draw the chart in chalk. So that's what I've done. If you're at home and you want to draw it on a little whiteboard that you can lay flat, or you want to draw it on a piece of paper, that's also fine. I have on my side table, I also have a little bowl of water. I have a lit tea light candle. I have a bell and I have a little fan. And I also have a bowl with a bunch of fresh flower petals in it. As we go along in the puja, I'll be offering flower petals. Flowers have a beautiful purity to them, and they also have an esoteric property where if you're holding a flower petal and saying a mantra or a prayer, the purity of that flower is so strong, it takes that prayer right into the causal plane and updates our own Akashic records. So that's why flowers are often used in many different traditions for different religious or spiritual purposes. They just are wonderful with their purity, what they're able to do. There's many esoteric secrets about flowers. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, first I'm going to just purify the area with a few drops of water. So I'm dipping my right ring finger into the little bowl of water, and I'm sprinkling a few drops of water on each side of the blackboard, meaning in the 4 directions. I'm sprinkling some water on top of my own head to purify me. And I'm shooting a few drops of water out into space towards all of you, so that whether you're watching it live or you're watching it later on a replay, we're all participating in this in essentially a sacred space. So we've done our purification, symbolic purification moment. Now we're going to start with invoking Ganesha, the archetype or angel who helps to remove obstacles. The mantra that we'll use for him is Om Sring, S-R-I-N-G, Gung, G-U-N-G. Om Sring Gung, Om Sring Gung, Om Sring Gung. We ask Ganesha to come and to remove all obstacles from this puja for all of us, and we thank him for his help with this. Now we're going to do a short Tamil chant. I have put a link to it up above earlier in the chat. This is a chant from Saint Yanis Samundar, a Tamil saint, and it's a chant to invoking all of the planets to become beneficial towards us. Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atiyar Avar Kumikave, Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atiyar Arvar Kumikave, Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atiyar Arvar Kumikave. We ask all of the planets and the stars and the archetypes that rule the stars to send us their most positive blessings. And we thank Saint Yanis Samundar for teaching this chant, and we're grateful to Dr. Pillai for sharing it with us. Now we're going to turn our attention to some of the time shaktis or time elements that are active right now. We're going to invoke the planet that rules the day, the star that the moon is in, the moon phase the moon is in, the planet that rules the hour or the hora, and we will also mention the yoga and the karana that are active right now in this area. Today is Tuesday, which is ruled by Mars. We're going to invoke Mars, and I'm going to put flower petals on top of Mars on my little chalkboard. And as I invoke him, each time I say the mantra, I'm using a fresh flower petal. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. We ask Mars for his blessings of protection, and we ask his blessings for health, and also blessings for anyone who's doing anything related to real estate, buying or selling houses or property, as he's involved for all of that. Now we invoke the star that the moon is in. Right now the moon is in a star called Ardra. We invoke this star, and I put the flower petals on top of the moon. Om Ardraye Namaha. Om Ardraye Namaha. Om Ardraye Namaha. Now we invoke the Tithi, or the moon phase. The moment the moon in this area is in the 14th waning moon phase, which is called Chaturdashi in Sanskrit. Dr. Pillai said for the moon phase, we would use the Sanskrit name followed by the word Devi, invoking the light being associated with that moon phase. Again, I put the flower petals on top of the moon. Om Chaturdasi Devye Namaha. Om Chaturdasi Devye Namaha. Om Chaturdasi Devye Namaha. Now we invoke the planet that rules the hour. At the moment in this area, the hora, or the hour, is being ruled by Mercury. We honor Mercury, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Bujaya Namaha. Om Bujaya Namaha. Om Bujaya Namaha. Now we're going to honor the yoga and the karana. Dr. Pillai said for these time elements, we wouldn't use flower petals. We would just say their names 3 times. The yoga right now is one called Harshana, which has energies of being joyous. Harshana, Harshana, Harshana. And the karana right now is one called Vishti, which has energies of being inefficient. Vishti, Vishti, Vishti. Now that we've honored the time Shaktis, we turn our attention to the chart of the moment. The moment, the ascendant, is in the sign of Simha or Leo, which is represented here with the AC. It's the sign coming up on the eastern horizon right now. Dr. Pillai said we would start with the ascendant and honor the planet that rules the ascendant. Leo is ruled by the planet, the sun. So we're going to honor the sun, and I'll put the flower petals on top of the sun. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Now we turn our attention going clockwise around the chart, going until we find another Rasi or sign that has a planet in it. This is Libra, which today contains Ketu. Libra is a sign of balance and harmony. Ketu is sometimes called the saintly planet. We honor Ketu. I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Ketu is in a star called Vishaka. This is a star that has competitive energies, and it wants to push us to be victorious, successful, feeling triumphant. We honor this star. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Vishaka is ruled by a pair of archetypes, Indra and Agni. Indra can give blessings of leadership and courage, and Agni, the archetype of fire, gives blessings of transformation and purity. We honor this pair of archetypes. Whenever I'm honoring a star or the archetypes, I put the flower petals on top of the planet that's in that star. We honor Indra and Agni. I put the flower petals on top of Ketu. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Vishaka star is ruled by Jupiter. We honor Jupiter, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Libra, which is Venus. I put the flower petals on top of Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Tula or Libra, a sign of balance and harmony. Today containing Ketu, a planet that helps with detachment, and a planet that helps provoke us to want longing for liberation. He helps us to want to be in a spiritual community. He helps us to want to become part of the communion of saints. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasier sign with planets in it is Makara or Capricorn, which today contains Pluto retrograde and Saturn retrograde. When a planet is retrograde, he's more powerful. Right now, we first start with honoring Pluto. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Pluto right now is in a star called Uttarashada. This is a star that can give blessings for long-lasting success. We honor this star. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Uttarashada star is ruled by 10 archetypes known as the Visvadevas. These are 10 beings who each represent a particular divine universal principle. We invoke their blessings. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Uttarashada star is ruled by the sun. We honor the sun. I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Now we turn our attention to Saturn for being in Capricorn, and we honor him. Put the flower petals on him. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Saturn today is in a star called Dhanishta, a star with energies that are helpful for wealth, music, and desire for good reputation. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Dhanishta star is ruled by the 8 Vasus, 8 light beings who each rule different spheres of existence. We honor them. Om Vasusye Namaha. Om Vasusye Namaha. Om Vasusye Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules the star Dhanishta, which is Mars. I put the flower petals on top of Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Makara or Capricorn, which is Saturn. Again, we honor Saturn, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Makara or Capricorn, a sign with energies to help us to activate ancient past life skills and abilities. Today containing Pluto, planet that helps with rationality and science, and Saturn, a planet that can help us with patience, discipline, organization. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with a planet in it is Mina or Pisces, which today contains Neptune, retrograde, and Jupiter. We start with honoring Neptune. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Neptune today is in a star called Purva Bhadrapada, a star with the fire of Kundalini and a fire that helps with purification. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Purva Bhadrapada star is ruled by Aja Ekapada, a one-footed archetype who can give us blessings to experience silence and forgiveness. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Purva Bhadrapada's star is ruled by Jupiter. We honor Jupiter, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Now we turn our attention to Jupiter for being in Pisces. Again, we honor him, and I put the flower petals on top of Jupiter. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Today, Jupiter is in a star called Uttara Bhadrapada. This is a star that Dr. Pillai says can give blessings for business development. We honor this star. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Uttara Bhadrapada star is ruled by an archetype called Arbundia. Among other things, he has ability to help guard our precious things, our treasures, our valuables. We invoke his blessings. Om Arbundiaye Namaha. Om Arbundiaye Namaha. Om Arbundiaye Namaha. Uttara Bhadrapada star is ruled by Saturn. We honor Saturn. I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Mina or Pisces, which is Jupiter. Again, we honor Jupiter. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Mina or Pisces, the most transcendental, metaphysical of all the zodiac signs, today containing Neptune, a planet that helps with our intuition, our ability to understand our own inner self, and Jupiter, planet that helps with spiritual teachings and our relationship with our spiritual teachers and our spiritual community. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with planets in it is Misha or Aries, which today contains Mars, Uranus, and Rahu. All three of these planets are in the same star, So I'm going to invoke all three of those planets before I invoke the star. We start with Mars. I put flower petals on Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Next, we honor Uranus. I put flower petals on top of him. Om Ram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Ram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Ram Prajapataye Namaha. Next, we honor Rahu. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Mars, Uranus, and Rahu are all in a star called Bharani. This is a star symbolized by the yoni, a symbol that represents the female private parts. This is a star, Bharani star, that has a tremendous amount of divine feminine Shakti or energy or power. We invoke the blessings of this star. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Bharani star is ruled by Yama, an archetype who, among other things, is an archetype of justice. Om Yamaye Namaha. Om Yamaye Namaha. Om Yamaye Namaha. Bharani star is ruled by Venus. We honor Venus, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Misha or Aries, which is Mars. I put the flower petals on top of Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Misha or Aries, a fire sign, a sign with very active energies. Today containing Mars, a planet that has energies of both the warrior and the healer. Uranus, a planet that helps with high intelligence, innovation, success in life, and even astrology. And Rahu, a planet that helps us to think outside the box and to make friends with new technologies. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with a planet in it is Mithuna or Gemini, which today contains Venus and the moon. During the night, the moon actually has crossed over Venus. The software doesn't show that the way it presents it here, but it's Venus and then moon. So we'll start with first invoking Venus. They're both in the same star, so I'll invoke both planets before I invoke this star. Invoking Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Next, we invoke the moon. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Both Venus and the moon today are in a star called Ardra, a star symbolized as a teardrop of compassion. We invoke the blessings of this star. Om Ardraye Namaha. Om Ardraye Namaha. Om Ardraye Namaha. Ardra's star is ruled by Rudra, a form of Shiva that destroys negativities. We ask Rudra to destroy negativities, both within and without. Om Rudraye Namaha. Om Rudraye Namaha. Om Rudraye Namaha. Ardra star is ruled by Rahu. We invoke the positive blessings of Rahu. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Matuna or Gemini is ruled by Mercury. We honor Mercury, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Matuna or Gemini, a sign with a great range of energies, today containing Venus, a planet of happiness, a planet that helps us to experience material plane comforts, and the moon, which is our mind and our emotions. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with a planet in it is Karkata or Cancer, which today contains the Sun and Mercury. We start with honoring the Sun. I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Right now, the sun is in a star called Pusha, a star symbolized as a cow's udder, a star with the energies of nourishment, and a star that's considered to be the most spiritually auspicious of all the stars. We ask for the positive blessings of this star. Om Pushaye Namaha. Om Pushaye Namaha. Om Pushaye Namaha. Pusha's star is ruled by Brihaspati, a teaching form of Jupiter, in which he's a very high teacher, sometimes even the teacher of some of the other archetypes. We honor Brihaspati. Om Brihaspataye Namaha. Om Brihaspataye Namaha. Om Brihaspataye Namaha. Pusha's star is ruled by Saturn. We honor Saturn, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Next, we honor Mercury for being in Cancer, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Today, Mercury is in a star called Aslesha, a star with tremendous mystical power. We honor this star. Om Asleshaye Namaha. Om Asleshaye Namaha. Om Asleshaye Namaha. Aslesha's star is ruled by the Nagas, ancient beings of light who know tremendous wisdom and know secrets about cycles of time. We invoke their blessings. Om Nagasye Namaha. Om Nagasye Namaha. Om Nagasye Namaha. Aslesha's star is ruled by Mercury. Again, we honor Mercury. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Karkata or Cancer, which is the moon. I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Karkata or Cancer, the most emotionally sensitive of all the zodiac signs. Today containing the sun, which is our soul, and a planet important for our health, and also Mercury, planet of communication, and also the planet of commercial success. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. Now I take my lit tea light and I hold it above the blackboard that has the chart with all the little flower petals on it. And I'm going to take it above the chart 3 times in a clockwise direction, offering all these divine beings that we've just invoked, the element of light. I'm offering the light. Next, I take a little hand fan. Some of you could use an incense stick, but I have a housemate who's sensitive to scent. So right now I'm waving a little fan above the chart 3 times in a clockwise direction, offering the element of a cooling breeze. And now I take a bell and I'm going to ring that 3 times above the chart in a clockwise direction, offering the element of sound. Now I put my hands in prayer position and I make some sincere prayers. I ask all of these divine beings that we have just invoked to bless us, our families, our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues. I ask them to bless our homes, our workplaces, our schools. I ask them to bless our communities, our countries, and indeed the entire planet. I pray to them, may everyone on this planet have healthy food to eat, clean water to drink, clean air to breathe, a safe place to live, good clothes to wear, access to healthcare, good education, sustainable jobs, and may everyone on this planet have love in their life, now and always. Om Dram Dattatreya Vishnu Baba. You can continue to make your personal prayers for about a minute, and then I'll open it for some Q&A. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Peace to the body, peace to the mind, peace to the soul, peace to the environment. Peace, peace, peace. May we all go about our day or our evening in peace. Thank you for being here. I can talk a little bit about any Q&A questions and answers you might have. I see Ranak posted in the chat a question. If you could please talk some more about Ardra's star, which today the moon is in, and also Venus. Why is it called the teardrop of compassion? Is Ardra moon linked to Shivaratri, which also falls today? Ardra moon is not necessarily linked to Shivaratri, which is the 14th waning moon, which we're in right now. But Ardra's star is ruled by Rudra, who is a form of Shiva. So there is a interconnection that way. Not that Ardra is connected to Shivaratri, but Ardra's star is connected to Rudra, who is a form of Shiva. So there is a kind of interconnection that way. Ardra's star, a teardrop of compassion. There was a beautiful quote from one of my earlier teachers talking about how there's always a teardrop in the eye of the Buddha that no one sees. It's the teardrop of compassion that the enlightened beings have for all the suffering that's in our world right now. So Ardra's star, the sages and saints who wrote down the qualities of these stars many years ago, they had very open third eyes, and they could perceive the energies of these different stars. So this energy of compassion, and I think that the symbol teardrop of compassion, it comes from that same idea about there's always a teardrop in the eye of the Buddha or in the eye of the enlightened ones that no one sees, because they just have so much compassion for the suffering that's in our world right now. And it's why some of them choose to incarnate here. You know, the idea of the bodhisattvas or the avatars that come to our planet to help remove negativity, to help remove suffering. So that's why the Ardra star has this symbol of a teardrop of compassion. There's a symbol associated with each of the stars to sort of help explain to us the energies that are coming from them. The sages of the ancient past, I've read somewhere that their pineal glands were like the size of a lemon. Our pineal gland right now in the modern world is like the size of a raisin. So they obviously had a very high intelligence, these beings who incarnated here or came here from another dimension to explain some of these energies of the planets and the stars to us. So that's what I can share with you about that, Ranak. It's got this energy. That star has an energy of compassion for the suffering of others, willingness to take action, to do something. So today's like a good day to, help feed a hungry person if you're able to do that, or to do some act of kindness, some compassionate service that you might be able to do. So that's a little bit of an answer for that. Ranak says, thank you. Okay, so we we answered that question. All right. Not seeing any other questions at the moment. Thank you all for being here. I am willing to answer a few questions at the end. It's not really an astrology class per se, but I know that there might be a question pop in your mind as we are doing the puja. But hopefully you're also having your own inner realizations or your own thoughts or feelings as we do the puja. Dr. Pillai specifically said that each time we finished doing the planets in a particular sign, we were supposed to pause for a few moments and reflect on the energies that were in that sign at the moment. So that's why we pause for a few moments as we go along, so that you would have that inner moment of reflection, or even just inner moment of receptivity to whatever energies those divine beings want to send to you, or thoughts to put into your head. Okay, well, not seeing other questions, so I'm going to go ahead and let us go about our day or our evening. We will be here again tomorrow at the same time on the channel Religion of Religions. So thank you for being here. I'm going to let the video continue to play. It invites you to click the like button and also to subscribe to the channel, as Dr. Pillai really wants the channel to continue to grow. But thank you for being here. Blessings to everyone.